It's round 15 of the 2023 MotoGP campaign, and we come to Indonesia. 6 races left, and yesterday Jorge Martin took the lead in the championship. Now he is ahead of Pecco Bagnia in second. Starting on the grid, well, Bagnia down on 11th position. A lot of work to make up in this race when it's hard to do so. Welcome to the Indonesian Grand Prix. Let's head down to the grid and get a look with Michael Laverty.
Roll the dice, so when the covers come off, we expect to see a soft rear tyre under there. So it is a bit of a risk, perhaps even stupid, as some of the Michelin engineers have said, but Aleix feels that he can win. He can do as Pedro Acosta done, manage the tyre all the way to the end. So it will be interesting to see if that gamble pays off.
Susie.
Thank you, Michael, there, as we're looking at Aleix Espargaro. We didn't see what Aleix could do yesterday from the front row of the grid, starting third alongside his teammate Maverick Vinales. But not very often we see all the range of tyres being used on the grid, is it?
No, I mean, and it's the situation we're in. It's like normally at a lot of the tracks, it's pretty obvious which tyres they're going to run. There's the odd time with a rear, someone might go for a soft and a medium, but the fact we're using them all, really interestingly, we are next to Parc Fermé. We've got the top 3 bikes from the Moto2, you know, the podium finishers, and I've just walked over to the bikes, and every one of them have got chunks, big chunks of rubber missing. They all went for the soft. On a MotoGP bike, a longer race. It's a big risk, like you said, like Michael said. Michelin have advised riders going against that option, but you know what riders are like. If they think that's going to, they're not scared of taking a risk. So
we've got a feeling for it. Yeah. Getting some great aerial shots there, weren't we, as we look at images now of Francesco Bagnia, who's playing catch-up.
Really playing catch-up. The whole part is, obviously, it's in this slight dip of form, dip of confidence, and then you've qualified, like, really far down. He's on the 5th row of the grid on this track that is pretty difficult to overtake. So like now it's okay sitting there trying to G yourself up, think, right, come on, be aggressive, be aggressive. Your race can be over within half a lap, so he actually has to be aggressive and patient at the same time, which is the worst combination. He's got a very, very difficult race ahead of him. If I was his team manager, I'd be saying, do not panic. Don't panic. If he can get a top 10 finish, he's going to lose points in the championship. But this could be one of those where he picks up 5 or 6 points, and that's what wins him the championship at the end of the year.
Davide seemed pretty convinced that he'd found something this morning. What do you think that was?
It must be corner entry, because that's been a struggle for Pecco recently. He was running off track a lot on Friday. He just couldn't get the bike stopped up. So I think his inability to pass yesterday is probably a knock-on effect of that. If you can't stop the bike precisely where you expect it to, then his feeling like he might have took Bastianini down if he'd have tried to release the brakes. So I would imagine it's corner entry, being able to stop the bike, keep it on the clean part of the track, and that fills you with confidence, because riding around here is almost like riding on a drying track with a narrow dry line.
Two faces then of this championship battle, Bagnia and Martin. Fabio Quartararo heads the 2nd row of the grid, an upturn of events for Fabio, looking pretty strong this weekend. How do you think he'll fare over 27?
Yeah, I think he actually will go better, because he's a fit lad. He's able to push the Yamaha all across race distance. He did so in India, come back to stand on the podium. So the way he jumped off the line yesterday impressed me. It does look like Yamaha's got their lower end device sitting a little bit lower off, closer to the ground, and it does jump off the grid a little better. So fingers crossed for Fabio. If he's away with the Ducatis, he's got good rhythm.
Luca Marini we saw in pole position, brilliant qualifying for him, his first ever MotoGP pole, recovering himself from a broken collarbone, but he's going to have a long lap penalty to do, so he's going to lose a few seconds there.
Yeah, it is 2.5 seconds maybe. That's going to put an already tough race into an even tougher scenario for him. So obviously he's going to be feeling the effects of the surgery. 3 weeks off the bike, he was worried about the 27 laps, but the medium rear tyre will make life a bit easier for Marini. But I do think the long lap penalty may well take him out of podium contention today.
And Marc Marquez, by the way, will go from the 3rd row of the grid in 8th place. What can he do in his long goodbye to HRC? But it's Luca Marini in pole position. We had an incredible race yesterday. Let's hope for the same again. Neil is sitting now alongside Gav. Here we go.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Indonesia Grand Prix from Lombok.
Yesterday, a change in the title lead. What's Magic Mandalika got for us today?
We're all set for what is going to be an absolute thriller MotoGP race. Here's the grid then. I know the graphics aren't working just yet, but remember they did that in Japan and they loaded up when the lights went out. Row 1, Luca Marini on pole position for the first time in a Grand Prix. Started on pole, of course, yesterday in the sprint race. Maverick Vinales alongside Aleix Espargaro. Row 2, Fabio Quartararo, Brad Binder and Jorge Martin. Row 3, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Marc Marquez and Marco Bezzecchi. Row 4, Jack Miller, Enea Bastianini and Miguel Oliveira. Row 5, Pecco Bagnaia, Johan Zarco and Franco Morbidelli. Row 6, Pol Espargaro, Ralph Fernandez and Augusto Fernandez. Row 7, Yoan Mir, Takiki Nakagami and Alex Rins. Long lap penalties for Luca Marini and that of the 23 of Enea Bastianini. The warm up is starting, so we will get our graphics working as well, but long time coming. Let's hear from the BT.
Through Q1, he starts 13th. The Aprilia, as we saw there with Maverick Vinales, fell away yesterday, but perhaps could start as favourites. And so many different tyre choices down on the grid. I can't believe we're seeing people on the hard front, medium front, soft front already, and I think the full range of rear tyres. We never see that. Michelin said yesterday, Neil Hodgson, who's finally made it alongside me from the boiling hot grid, we strongly recommend the riders to select medium or hard compound rear tyres, and for the front, it will also be best to choose between medium and hard.
Yeah, and the question is, how many have gone for the soft? Do we know?
Not quite got...
Not quite sure, but we definitely know that some riders have definitely opted for the softer option. It's a massive gamble.
Front row, it's soft and medium for Luca Marini, front and rear, and then it's both mediums for Vinales, both soft for Espargaro, and that's just the front row.
Yeah, that's...
Wow, this is going to be a great race coming up. There's literally going to be anything to go for. Megan's not joining me in the commentary box. It's way too cold for her to be out this early in the morning when she can't risk being ill. I've been out here, so I'm slightly acclimatised to it, just a slight runny nose, but I'm going ice skating later, so I've got to get used to the cold as well. Don't worry, I'll have some food to warm me up after this one, and then food later on after ice skating as well. So, all set then. I wish it was as cold in Mandalika as we're seeing at the moment. It is so hot there, 32-degree temperature. Don't worry about the live timing. They're showing the Moto2 race results as well. They will hopefully pop back when the lights go out like they did back in Japan, if you remember correctly. MotoGP live timing being about as useful as a chocolate teapot right now. But irresponsible riding during the Indian... Oh, look, there we go. They've popped back. 27 laps ahead of us then. There's our timing screens, all set up, ready to go. And we already know that irresponsible riding during the Indian Grand Prix means Luca Marini, that was his last race. He was given the penalty for causing the contact with him and Marco Bezzecchi. He starts on pole position. It's all eyes to the front then. It's the MotoGP Indonesian Grand Prix. It is round 15 of the 2023 season. Marini on pole, Vinales in the middle, Aleix alongside. Who's going to be victorious today? All 5 lights are on. And it's pull the throttle back, and away we go. Bad start from Marini, great start from Quartararo. Coming up through his Brad Binder. Look at Jorge Martin. He's straight up there into turn 1. The Ducati whole shot device working brilliantly, and he leads into the first corner. Goes out a bit wide. Brad Binder nearly taking out Luca Marini there. Coming back through into turn 1 and 2. But Martin from 6th on the grid by literally the first corner. He takes the lead here, and Franco Morbidelli's dropped back down into 21st position, so we'll have to watch out for him coming through. But great start from Martin, and there goes the Ducati. That is Pecco Bagnaia, who today has got ahead of Enea Bastianini. He couldn't manage that yesterday. He's managed that today, which is the great news. Martin leads, Vinales following him right back. Quartararo's up to 3rd in a battle with Luca Marini and Brad Binder. Binder trying to go deep, deep, deep. He's gone deep, deep, deep. Vinales has gone deep, deep, deep too. So that's going to put Marini back up there. And Marc Marquez in a battle already with Pecco Bagnaia, who's now in a battle with Maverick Vinales. Down the outside. Oh, front wheel clipping of Vinales with the rear tyre of Pecco Bagnaia. Insanely close stuff there. And Bagnaia, that's Bastianini running out wide, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Bastianini running way out wide and going through the gravel. Now, for some reason it's saying 1 lap 2 of 27. We are not. This is lap 1 of 27. Marini, there's his confirmation of a long lap penalty to come through. 27 now, 26 laps to go as we complete the opening lap of Gambit. So, here's the running order. It's Martin from Vinales, Quartararo, Marini, Binder, Bagnaia as they come across the line. I'd like to point out the timing tower is completely wrong on the TV pictures if you're watching along with us. Ours is correct up here in the commentary box that you're watching along with. So that's what you need to keep an eye on. Quartararo in a battle with Marini. Binder now in a battle with Bagnia, who's trying to right round the outside, coming through turns 3, 4 and 5. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he can. So Bagnia gets ahead of Brad Binder, and Binder's gone right back at him. Binder's gone right back ahead of him. Well, this race is just completely changing as well. Look at the tyres then. Let's open up the battle screen. So this is the tyres that everybody was on. It's such a wide complex. Martin, soft front, medium rear. Michelin have advised the teams not to use the soft compound tyre at the rear of the bike. Half the field haven't listened to them. Oh, down goes Marini. He gets clipped by Binder. And the concertina effect. Marini's gone down. Quartararo, Bagnia and Binder all together. And it was Marini who got crashed out. He hits the deck and the bike has stalled. The pole sitter is out before he can even take the long lap penalty. So he's on the outside line, Quartararo's on the inside line. Binder comes in as well as Bagnia, and Binder just completely wipes out Luca Marini. Bagnia looking not to get involved in that one as well. So Martin leads, Quartararo in third position, Bagnia up to fourth, Binder down into fifth position, Miguel Oliveira. Oh, someone's flying off the track at huge speed. Wow, is that Paul Espargaro? Yes, it is. Huge accident for Paul Espargaro, flying off the track, skating across the track. So Paul Espargaro out as well. Huge accident. And Morbidelli's gone into the pit lane. Yellow flag sectors 3 and 4. Now we're on lap 3 of 20. Yeah, lap 3 of 27. The computer's having a glitch on many a part, so we'll keep an eye out as best we can of what's going on. Martin leads from Vinales, Quartararo, Bagnia. That's the situation as things stand. And there is Paul Espargaro, confirmed to be out of the race. Well, let's see what happened to him, because he just flew off down towards turn 16 hairpin. Has a little twitch with 15. Oh, and he just drops it way on entry and heads down on the deck. Wow.
Shock. With the hitch in the middle of that Honda. That Honda's looked awful all weekend round here. Mark's been pushing it. He's been down the road a few times. It's not looked comfortable at all.
I agree with SHTs in the Twitch stat. Bagnia already up into fourth. What a start by Pecco. What an amazing start for Pecco. Bagnia really is making this race into his own right now. Lap 3 now. Bastianini has completed his long lap penalty, so he's got back into this race, as now we're on board with, that's Bagnia getting through the inside line of Fabio Quartararo. So a nice little move made there, slipstreaming on the inside line, and now that's going to be Aleix Espargaro going back through on the inside, so Quartararo losing out. Right, let's do a quick who's on soft rear tyres, because they're the ones Michelin have said do not use whatsoever. As Quartararo goes back up the inside of Aleix Espargaro, they have a little bit of a touch, and Quartararo goes back ahead of Aleix. Aleix gets back at him on the inside line at turn 17 on the left-hander, goes back through into fourth position. Martin at 1:31.619. Okay, so soft rear as Binder now goes over a little on the inside line. Incident involving Binder and Marini is currently under investigation by the stewards. Marini's back in the pit lane. Quartararo goes way deep at 1, and through goes Binder. Right, who's on the soft rear tyre who Michelin have said don't do it? Aleix Espargaro, Miguel Oliveira, Takiki Nakagami, Raul Fernandez, sabbatically, I believe 3 of the 4 Aprilias. Yeah, and Paul Espargaro, and he was on a gas, which is technically a KTM. So, yeah, so Paul already went down due to losing the rear grip anyway, so it wasn't anything to do there. This is Marini and Binder's crash on the inside line. Binder's just going to launch it too late and just completely takes out Marini. In my opinion, that's a double long lap penalty for Binder. It was a move inside the braking zone, couldn't get it stopped, and just completely took him out. It was not right at all. Definitely not 100%.
One of those as well, isn't it, where Binder just had much quicker approach speed. Yeah. He had to sort of take to the inside line to avoid the rider in front of him, and then he was always going to run it wide. And well, anyway, we'll see what happened, but we've had our say on it from here, and it's so easy. So easy, isn't it, from here, than when you've got adrenaline coursing through your veins and you're riding in 35-degree heat.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Marini's been given a long lap penalty, just flashed up on our timing screen. Marini has been given a long lap penalty. It's very lenient in my book. I would have given him a double long lap penalty for taking the rider out. Great stat here from Sean SHT, that's SHT in the Twitch chat, who's put Nakagami also moved up from 20th to 10th from his starting position. Didn't even spot that. Nakagami on the LCR Honda. What a great getaway from him. We're watching Aleix Espargaro being caught up now to Pecco Bagnia. Yeah, he's having a little bit of a move coming in there. See them just trying to twitch up at the front. Bagnia, though, had to perform here in this Grand Prix. failed to score yesterday meaningful points in the sprint race, had to find the grip here, already up into third position. It's damage limitation with Martin now leading the championship, but he's got to keep Aleix Spargo behind him. Binder has been given a long lap penalty for irresponsible riding. So, hang on, did Marini get one and then Binder's got one? Was that the correction? That's really strange. Why was Marini still... Yeah, Marini's still circulating, so he's been confirmed with that long lap penalty, but now Binder's 100% been given the long lap penalty loop. Really strange. Okay, so Brad Binder has been given the penalty. Marini, I understand, was that long lap completion that flashed up on our screen. That came through, but Binder has been given the penalty. I would have given him a double. It's a single. Martin leads by 1.4 seconds to Maverick Vinales, who's 1.4 seconds clear to Bagnia, Aleix Spargo. This battle for third position that's brewing at the moment. Martin will lead the title, 353 points to Bagnia on 337, so a 16-point gap in the championship with 5 races to go and 5 sprint races after this, effectively another 10. Grand Prix event that we have to start across the next few weeks. Australia is in 7 days' time as well. It's very late, very wide through turn 1 comes Bagnia, and coming through for an attack is Aleix Spargo, and there goes Binder for his long lap on the exit of turn number 2 and 3. That's where the long lap is at 3 and 4 to circulate back in. He comes in right behind Marco Bezzecchi, who's running in 9th position. It's a battle for third between Bagnia and Aleix Spargo, raising up, and Vinales now dropped back. Martin, as soon as that start was pitch perfect with the Ducati whole shot device, he was off. Straight off into turn 1, and he got the move done. Perfect. As Binder completes his long lap penalty, we saw him do it. It's confirmed on the timing screen here. He's had that completed. It'll fade away as they attack once more. Down into turn 12, opens up the little straight before the kink at 13 and 14, sort of a chicane in the middle of the track. Don't forget, this Manjanika circuit is actually a street track. They're going to build cities around this course. It's a circuit that's built safely enough for motorcycle racing, and then they're going to build around this area to create it as a street circuit. Think about the South Korea circuit in Yeoman as well, where Formula 1 went from 2010 to 2013. That style, but they've actually got the funding here. That is Luca Marini out of the race. That's Marini, Morbidelli and Polo Spargo all out of this race. 18 riders left then here in the Indonesian Grand Prix. And we're watching the battle for third position between Bagnia and Aleix Spargo. Hard front, medium rear for Bagnia, soft front and rear for Aleix Spargo. Morbidelli has rejoined the race. So Morbidelli has left the pit lane, the bike has been repaired, and he has rejoined this race. Martin just set the fastest first sector time of anybody, a 25.430. And let's take a look at the start. I'll hand over to Neil.
Martin's, there he is, they're going to point him out for us. Thank you very much for that to our graphics operator. Let's have a see at Martin's start. I mean, he's nailed it.
Look at that. Look at the speed. I mean, unreal. Probably one of the best starts we've ever seen.
That
was great.
Incredible. He's along past the Spargo, past Vinales already, past Marini. The approach speed between himself and Marini down to turn 1, and he's just dived for the perfect line.
Yeah, the grippy part of the track, you see what he did there. Quite aggressive, and every rider would have done the same. He moved himself across in front of everybody onto the clean part of the track.
But when you're travelling 10 miles an hour more than the rider next to you, it makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Really does, and with no Megan or anything else, it's hard to tell. And look at that Marini, after going down, he's taking some ice to that collarbone. Remember, he did have a broken collarbone, the same as Marco Bezzecchi. He had surgery 2 weeks ago on the Tuesday after the Grand Prix in India. So he's still recovering a lot as well. So bag of ice on there. I'm disappointed to see he's gone down after such a promising start to the weekend. We knew he had to take the long lap penalty coming into today's race, but it was all a hope that he could do something about it to take his first ever win in the Premier class. It hasn't happened. Martin, though, at the moment, dominating this race and taking the lead of the championship. Bagnia is going to try and do everything he possibly can to stop that from happening, to try and take an advantage through. And with 20 laps to go, this is how they run. Jorge Martin, 1.6 seconds ahead to Maverick Vinales. Bagnia, Aleix Spargo, Quartararo up to 5th position, remember, as they come through. Nakagami's dropped off a little bit. He's in 11th position. He's been repassed by Marc Marquez. as we rejoin that little battle with Oliveira in 6th, Miller 7th, Bezzecchi 8th, Binder 9th, Marquez 10th, Nakagami 11th. Being followed closely by Fabio Di Giannantonio, then it's Johan Mir 13th, 14th Ralph Fernandez, 15th Alex Rins, and they are just at the tail of that. I think Rins is actually quite far back. Yeah, Rins is 1.8 behind Ralph Fernandez, so it's sort of down to Marc Marquez. So it's Oliveira to Marc Marquez, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're in a battle together. Yellow sector 4, and it's Marc Marquez. Well, I kind of knew that would happen because I commentator cursed him, unfortunately. And on the weekend where it's been announced he is leaving the Repsol Honda team for Grenesci next year on a Ducati bike, Marc Marquez crashes in the sprint and he crashes in the Grand Prix as well. Just turns into 13. Left-hander drops it on the front before the right-hander tried to pick the bike up, and down he goes. Indonesia has just been a cursed track for Marc. He's never finished a race yet. Last year he didn't even start the race when he got thrown up in the air in the warm-up session as well with a monster high side. So Marc Marquez retires from this race. That puts back into 10th position, actually, Fabio Di Giannantonio, because he's passed Takiki Nakagami on that last lap. So they have switched over positions once more. 19 to go here. Riding on board with, Brad Binder. Battle for 8th. Marco Bezzecchi just ahead as they come through. Lovely stuff here as Oliveira goes late on the brakes. Miller's under a bit of an attack here from Marco Bezzecchi as well. Coming into turn 10, hairpin. They screw it up nicely. Yellow flags back in, so the race good to go. Green flags are waving, and that's a great move from Binder trying to come through on the inside line. Turn number 11 and 12 hasn't worked out. Can't find the way through on the inside line. Into 13 and 14, he'll get the cut back, get the drag back. And it hasn't worked out. There's Marc Marquez, visor up, arms over eyes, resting against the Tech Pro barrier on the other side of the fence, and through goes Miller on Oliveira on the inside line down at turn 16. He'll get the cut back into 17. Oliveira can't do anything about it. Miller goes into 6th position, and Oliveira on the Crypto Data RNF bike, which is the Aprilia customer team, can't do anything either. Oh, and what a lunge from Bezzecchi. He gets back ahead of Oliveira now as well. So Bezzecchi takes 7th, Oliveira 8th, Binder still in 9th. He's desperately trying to get through on these 2-4 positions, and it's just not working out. So 18 laps to go. It's lap 10 of 27 here in Indonesia. What a great little run we're seeing. Oliveira is fighting under pressure. Everyone on the soft rear tyre starting to struggle. Remember, Oliveira is on that soft rear tyre. Michelin said, do not run it. Do not run this tyre. It could cause problems. It will cause problems during the race. And they go, no, we'll run it. It's fine. Aleix Espargaro's on that tyre as well, remember, and he's running in 4th position right now, and he too is dropping back on the pace. There's 7 tenths now between him and Bagnia. It was 6 tenths, so he's dropping a 10th per sector as things stand. As they turn in once more through turn 12 at the exit power. This is Binder we're on board with now, the 33, who's had to serve a long lap penalty coming through. Trying to find a way through on Miguel Oliveira for 8th position. Through 14, on the inside line of the curve, 15 for the hairpin at 16. Oliveira shuts the door. Binder's going to go for a late lunge. You just know it coming into turn 16. Nope, sits the bike up, resettles it, reshapes it. Gets a good launch out into 17. Back on the bike, left-hander. Power mid-corner, 90-degree exit. Curves it up on the right-hander. 17 to go across the line. Turn 1, such a juxtaposition as well because it's heavy on the brakes, down from 270 to around about 110. No, 100 actually now, kilometres an hour on these race tyres to get back through. And he's going for it. Oliveira doesn't know he's there. Was there contact between Binder? Yes, there was. Contact between Miguel Oliveira and Brad Binder. Binder for the 2nd time today left it too late on the brakes, and he forces Miguel Oliveira off the track. There's broken bit of end plate from the RNF bike as well. What was Binder thinking there coming into turn 4? Literally lunged it up the inside, tags the leg of Oliveira, and Oliveira to go straight through the gravel. Binder will get another long lap penalty for that for sure. And Binder's facing a black flag here. New fastest lap for Jorge Martin, a 1:31.035, a new best race lap record, because I knew it was a wet race last year, I'm not surprised. Incident is currently under investigation, say the stewards, for that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Binder gets a 2nd long lap penalty. maybe even a black flag if he continues this, because now he's right behind, I don't know, that's Binder behind Fabio Di Giannantonio. So Binder's dropped down to 9th. Di Giannantonio's up to 8th, maybe not for longer, because Binder's looking very unsteady. He's on medium, front and rear. That's his tyres. Binder has been a naughty boy today. That's so dangerous, his SHT. Zarco's just hit, just huge struggle for him. Yeah, really bad from Zarco at the moment. Where is he on the board? We haven't talked about Zarco. 17th in the Prima Pramac. He too having a horrible weekend so far. There's Johan Mir. He's Mir's 11th, and he's going to go for 10th now. The inside of Takiki Nakagami, same bike, and through he goes. The one's a little bit too deep. Nakagami gets the exit pace. Mir looks back to think, where's Nakagami? Oh, he's ahead of me. So has to refocus coming into 3 and 4. Debris right on that racing line from the, I think it's Brad Binder's end plate that fell off as he got broken off by the leg of Miguel Oliveira. So there's a few things that needs to be settled there. Aleix Espargaro, though, faster lap on lap compared to Fabio Quartararo. So there's a much better high chance here of seeing this go the correct route. Martin leading by 2.7 seconds to Maverick Vinales now, who's 8/10 ahead of Bagnia. So Bagnaia's closed that 1.4 gap down to 8/10. He wants P2. I think it's very unlikely he'll catch Jorge Martin. Unless there's a red flag and a race reset, it'll be very unlikely for Martin to lose this advantage. He's 3 seconds ahead at the moment. Yellow flag sector 3. And it's the 37. Augusto Fernandez has crashed out. Rider okay, we're being told on our screen, but Augusto Fernandez has gone down. Where's he gone down? Sector 3. So I'm looking on the board to see where it could... and Mir's crashed out too! Mir's crashed. Sector 4. Rider okay, but Johan Mir's crashed out. And all of a sudden the clouds have started to come over the circuit as Quartararo going for 4th position. Can't get ahead of Aleix. So Mir's crashed out too from the race. Don't know where he's gone down. Not telling us. Quartararo on the inside line of Aleix Espargaro. Aleix's tyres are going. There's Mir. I think that's down at turn 16, you know. So Aleix Espargaro's tyres are gone. Soft front, soft rear. 13 laps. Not even halfway. His tyres are dead. And now we've got Quartararo's on soft front, medium rear, which means he should have a little bit more grip at the exit with the power. So Quartararo, it's going to be interesting, but I think soft front, medium rear for Jorge Martin as well. That's been the dominant. He's now 3 seconds clear to Vinales. Yellow flag's been brought in. Vinales just closed on me by 10th, actually, in that sector. Bagnia's pulled out. In fact, Vinales, yeah, 10th quicker than everyone. Oh, hello. Martin's down! Martin's crashed! Martin is down! He's crashed out of the race! I don't believe it! I do not believe it! A 16-point in the championship has been wiped away! Another dramatic change! And you can hear the Indonesians know what has happened! The first mistake from Jorge Martin from the lead of the race by 3 seconds! I don't know if it was my commentator's curse again as Quartararo passes Aleix for the final podium. It's down at turn 11, down into a right-hander where we are now. And I do not believe it. Maverick Vinales leads. Maverick Vinales leads here in Indonesia. He's on for his first win since Qatar 2021. Gigi Dall'Igna walking in. Get him told Bagnia can take the lead and has taken the lead. Yesterday, Martin took the lead by 16 points. Today, Bagnia goes ahead at the moment by 12 points in the standings. Martin just jumps on the entries to turn 11. I do not know if that was my fault as a commentator's curse. I said it was going to have to take a race stoppage or an accident to put Bagnia back in the hunt for a race win. And in the very next lap, Jorge Martin crashes out. Just drops the front, straight into the gravel. No chance of restarting. Everybody on the chat, absolutely devastated, I can see. Martin devastated. SHT says, I was about to say, if Martin does crash, this reminded me of Vettel, who had a championship lead, then he crashed out in Germany in the final few laps, leading the whole race. Binder's been given another long lap penalty for irresponsible riding. The gap that was 16 points coming into today is now Bagnia advantage to by 13 again. And it could be more. He could go 18 points ahead if he beats Vinales. That's a big ask. The Aprilia has been so quick this weekend. On the tyre race pace, they were 3/10 quicker than the Ducatis. Unbelievable scenes here as we pass half distance. Martin is out, the championship leader, who only took it yesterday in the sprint race, has crashed out. And now Binder's coming through. Let's get the thoughts of TNT.
The team we're talking, I wonder if they're going to be putting out something like P2 OK. With so many crashes, so many mistakes, at this point, 20 points looks really, really good.
Maverick Vinales would agree with that too, of course, because he could be in line to be the first rider to win on 3 different manufacturers in his first for Aprilia. Pecco Bagnaia, who we ride on board with, Neil, leads the World Championship again here in Indonesia with 13 points now, the gap between himself and Martin.
I've seen Pecco Bagnaia walking around this paddock this weekend so many times. I have never seen him look so miserable. He has had the weight of the world on his shoulders. Do you know when you look at a rider, look, what a great shot.
And he can see, as Jorge Martin watches on there at turn 11, he'll have seen 2 things. Pecco Bagnaia in second, but he'll have seen how wide Maverick Vinales was. Like Vinales might just have been suffering a little bit more than Bagnaia, because Bagnaia took a much cleaner run through 11.
Yeah. And
This race is just turning up. One heat for the other. It just keeps on changing. Quartararo's in 3rd position. I've just texted Megan everything that's happened while we're listening to TNT. Miller, and there is Jorge Martin. Yellow flag sector 3. Zarco's down. Both Prima Pramacs are out. Both Prima Pramac Ducatis are out of the Indonesian Grand Prix with Zarco crashing. Yesterday we had the championship change. Megan's just said, oh no. I hope Bagnia does eventually then, and good for Vinales. Unbelievable, viewers. Zarco's down as well. Both Prima Pramacs out of this race. Vinales leads by 1 second to Bagnia, who is 2.7 clear to Quartararo, who's in a battle all of his own. It's a 2-way fight with half the race left. And it's Maverick Vinales, who hasn't won a race since Qatar 2021. Oh, that was Zarco, same part of the track, exactly the same crash at turn 11 for both the Prima Pramacs. They can have an early pick-up then, early beers, and go back. Oh, hello, overtaking there in the yellow flag zone was Marco Bezzecchi. That's a bit of a no-no. Bezzecchi might get told off for that. There was a yellow flag out, and he's overtaken in that zone. You're not allowed to do that. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a long lap coming for Marco Bezzecchi there. Bagnia just been so lucky today. And that's such a shame as we see, as we've just seen Bezzecchi give the position back to Aleix Espargaro. Wisely done. He's now trying to hold off Fabio Di Giannantonio. Had to be done, I'm afraid. Because he overtook in the yellow zone, he had to give the place back, otherwise he would have faced the wrath of the stewards. So, wise decision there. Gap 9/10 of a second, but Bezzecchi's going to go straight back through on Aleix Espargaro, whose tyres are shot, remember. And Bezzecchi goes up into 5th place by turn number 1. Bagnia's on a hard front. Oh, he's gone wide. He's gone wide. Bezzecchi's gone wide. And that's going to allow Aleix back through. And Di Giannantonio's going to have a crack at him here. Into turn 3 on the inside line to the right, and he's taken him. So through goes Di Giannantonio for 6th position. Aleix takes 5th. Bezzecchi down from 5th to 7th in the space of a corner. That's how quick it can change here in Indonesia. Just one small change on the bike, and it just flips around on you. Nothing you can do. As they turn once again, this is the battle. As Di Giannantonio, remember, he is on soft front medium tyre. Aleix on softs, and down into turn 10, he's taken him. So Di Giannantonio up into 5th position. Very strong race from him right now. Aleix looks back to see where Marco Bezzecchi was as they try and avoid turn 11. Bagnia is now 5/10 away from Maverick Vinales. My gut is telling me here that we're going to have a Bagnia victory once again this season. And Vinales will not win for the first time since 2021 at Qatar. At the moment, Maverick Vinales stands to be the first ever rider in MotoGP history to win a race on 3 different bikes. Remember, we heard Gavin say that a second ago. He won on Suzuki, of course, at Silverstone. He won, of course, with Yamaha. He's never won with Aprilia, but can he do it? Become the first ever rider to win on 3 different manufacturers of bikes, considering a 70-year history of MotoGP and over 1,000 races. Really is quite astonishing. It's never happened before. There's Jorge Martin back into the garage. Eyes aloft. What on earth do you do from here? Where do you go from here? Such a shame. But this... Oh, hello. What's this? That's an engineer with Martin looking in. Very hot and sweaty. As they take him off, get him cooled down. Gap 8/10 now. Vinales responding to Bagnia as they're coming towards turn 10. Vinales does not want to give this easy to Bagnia. Bagnia, hard front, soft, hard front, medium rear will have more life in that tyre as Aleix Espargaro repasses Brad Binder for 8th position. Binder's trying to get back through him. Binder hasn't served his long lap penalty yet though. And he'll have to do that, otherwise he'll get called up to the stewards with a black flag. Oops, and through he goes. Binder goes and takes Aleix. So next lap, I think Binder will have to make the move. 100% certainty on that. Maverick Vinales, 5/10 ahead to Pecco Bagnia, 2 seconds ahead of Quartararo, 2.3 now the gap there. 10 laps to go in this balmy, incredible Indonesia Grand Prix. 9 now on the board. And Quartararo is not stopping here. He's in striking distance. He can see these two ahead of him. 2.1 seconds isn't that much on a MotoGP bike, and he can see that they're going to have an attack through. Bastianini has done a 1:39.06. Bastianini passed Nakagami to 9th. Di Giannantonio into 4th, says SHT. Yes, so he is. He's passed Jack Miller. Thank you, SHT. What a great race. Well done if you've got up early or stayed with us throughout the night to watch these races. Moto 3 was great. Moto 2, bit of a ball fest as per normal. MotoGP rips up the title once more. Strong race by Di Giannantonio.
I know what you're pointing to there. Oh, and here Bastianini randomly has just set the fastest lap.
Yeah, but he's got a hard front, medium rear. Who else has the hard front, medium rear? Pecco Bagnia. And look.
Bagnia is right on the back here. Here comes Pecco, says SHT. And you were going to say, strong race by Di Giannantonio, dropped back down to 16th at the start. And he's back up to 4th. And here we go again then. Gap is 1/10 of a second. Vinales versus Bagnia. And this will likely be the last opportunity for an overtake in this race as we head down towards turn number 1. Bagnia will now get that Ducati lined up on the straights. It's not many straights here in Indonesia. This down to turn 1, the only really straight part of the track. And look, even on the straights, never seen that before. The Aprilia, 313 kilometers an hour. The Ducati, 309. That's 194 miles an hour for Vinales, 192 for Bagnia. So there's a big gap in the acceleration top speeds down the straights. There's Quartararo 3rd, 1.7 now. So by these two at the front scrap, Quartararo's bringing himself into the mix. And yeah, he's closing. And there goes Bagnia on the inside line down towards turn 10 for the lead of the race. He's on the inside line on the right part of the track. He goes through. Vinales tries to get the cut back there, literally shoulder to shoulder. And Bagnia takes the lead of the Indonesian Grand Prix at turn 10. He now leads the title by 18 points to Jorge Martin, who has crashed out. Bagnia 12th to 1st, says SHT in the Twitch chat. Absolutely right. What an astounding bit of luck with Martin not being in the race, crashing out. But what an absolute talent from Bagnia to close up to leading this race from 12th on the grid. Great lunge on the inside line too. Just caught Vinales napping. And got it on the inside line to turn 10. Vinales had a fight back, but there's never a wheel enough alongside for anything else to matter. So now, Bagnia has already pulled out 5/10 to Vinales. That hard front tyre of Bagnia is going to be helping him along for the next couple of laps. Vinales, medium front, medium rear. Quartararo, soft front, medium rear. How long is he going to last in this race? You can see the tyres alongside us if you're watching along with us on Twitch or YouTube on JB Motorsports. Pleasure to have you on the commentary calls. As Quartararo just closing in. So we've now got 3. Yeah, Quartararo's now within a second of Vinales. We've got a 3-way fight now. Top 3 separated by 1.4 seconds. It is now a 3-way fight for this race. But Bagnia, unless he crashes out, which, let's face it, it's not unheard of. He has crashed out several times this year at crucial stages. It could still change going forward. A cracking race, a cracking atmosphere here. And it's not over yet. It's building to a grandstand finish. Bezzecchi has been passed by Binder and Miller. And yeah, Binder's swapped with Miller, as SHT's pointed out. And Rins has passed Nakagami, so the two LCRs swapping places as well. So team order is starting to come into effect here, I think. But what happened to Marco Bezzecchi? Because he dropped down a couple of places as well, almost like he stood up. Quartararo's got a shot at winning this race, but he needs to get ahead of Vinales, I feel. Vinales now holding him up. How is Quartararo making that soft front tyre work? Rins now on Aleix for 9th. Bastianini, fastest first and second sector. Bagnia closing in. Now, last lap times. They're not telling us on the board. That's really annoying. I wanted to see what it was for Bagnia. Oh, here we go. Last lap, Bagnia 131.3. Vinales 131.8. Quartararo 131.1. Quartararo is flying out there at the moment on those soft front, medium rear. And he's right on the back of Maverick Vinales then. He's gone medium, medium, as I keep pointing out how I do, but it's so important to remember this one. Pecco podium for 1 as well, as they fly through into turn 10. Beautiful coastal circuit here. We'll see the same in 7 days' time at Phillip Island for the Australian Grand Prix. One of the best Australian races on the calendar. Great, great event. Such a party atmosphere. If it's dry, it's a great race. If it's wet, it's a bleeding amazing race. And Vinales now really holding up Fabio Quartararo. Down out of 7 and 8 into turn 10. Quartararo still can't find a way through. Such a fast turn 10. Trying to find out where we are into turn 11. Oh, can't get the inside line. Actually, that's down to turn 16. Yeah, sorry, they all look the same at this part of the track. So this is turn 17 now, the last corner. We come across the line. 5 laps to go then. Here in Indonesia, Bagnia leads by 1 second. Vinales and Quartararo, the gap between them 0.3 of a second. Closing in on the fight now as they come in towards turn number 1. Back on the power. Just ever so gently turning through the corners now. Quartararo, less aggressive than his former teammate Maverick Vinales. These two know each other of old. Vinales, former Yamaha rider alongside Quartararo, former teammates, the two of them, of course, in MotoGP only a couple of years ago. And someone gone down? No, someone's just turning the noise up. These two know each other, know every single trick in the book, Vinales and Quartararo. They know how to deal with each other. They know where to be looking, what to be looking for, as they'll take it through again. 5 laps to go. Come on, Quartararo. Can he catch and give us a grandstand finish to what has been an epic race? Bezzecchi, by the way, don't know why we've kept him open, because he's 3rd in the championship, of course. He's going to be losing out on more points, dropping further and further back in the standings. Nothing's been updated in 5 minutes. It's been quite a lull period in the race, but it is building up to the grandstand. Out of the last corner then. 4 laps to go across the board. 1 second Bagnia has, and I think this might be the running order, you know, down towards turn 1. Not seeing much changing. Di Giannantonio still in 4th, Binder 5th, Miller 6th. Not much actually happening on the circuit, not much between them. Bezzecchi is right behind Miller. That's a close battle. Bastianini involved in that little mix too. And this is a replay of Bagnia doing the Dr. Dangle in towards turn 1 from 314 to 99 kilometres an hour. Fabio should clear Maverick fast. Pecco is still in sight, says Mona Reng as well. I completely agree with you. 7/10, Vinales and Bagnia, the gap. The gap between Quartararo and Bagnia, 1.2 seconds. Oh, and Quartararo's gone deep into turn 10. Cost him another couple of tenths. Bagnia's now having to save his tyres. I think the soft front medium option was actually the right one to go for, because Quartararo now is losing the grip. The track temperature's starting to drop actually, with the clouds building over the circuit. So that hard front tyre is getting colder. Compared to Quartararo's front tyre, which has been perfect operating temperature throughout the entirety of the race. Got to find a way through. What just happened? Bezecchi's passed Miller. Bezecchi has passed Miller for 6th position. That's more like it. Look at that, Bagnia 13th. At the end of lap 1, he was 6th. 4th on lap 4. 2nd, lap 6. Took the lead at half distance. Bezecchi gets ahead of Miller. Aleix now dropping down. Yep, Aleix Spargo is dropping down. He's down to 10th place now. Sad for him on that Aprilia. Hasn't had a great weekend as Aleix Spargo. Not worked for him at all. They are so aggressive on those curbs through 2 and 3. Really never seen anything like it over. I'd like to thank everyone for getting this stream over 10,000 views. First time that's happened in a while since the YouTube blocks a couple of months ago. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it. Cracking race we've got going on here in a grandstand finish. Everyone's down less than a second. Quartararo is 7/10. Vinales was saving his tyres. Bagnia's got no grip coming into turn 10. It's a grandstand finish in Indonesia. All 3 riders separated by 7/10 of a second. Brilliant. A swig of the water to make sure that we can get to the end of the race in one breath. Bagnia hits the sunlight. That'll help his hard front tyre a little bit. Quartararo needs now to clear Vinales. The gap is 1/10 of a second. He's got much more exit speed. Coming through 14, 15, into the hairpin at 16. Back on the brakes. Accelerates. Pull the throttle. It will be 2 laps to go here at Mandalika on the island of Lombok in Indonesia. We have a total of 8/10 separating 3 different manufacturers and 3 different riders, 2 of them being world champions, of Bagnia, 1 Vinales, 1 Quartararo. What is going to happen? Bagnia's dropped an awful lot of pace. Whether he's doing it for security, we don't know. But Vinales gets a little bit wide through 3. Quartararo takes a tighter line. He twitches at the exit. Coming into 4. Quartararo now will have the exit. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sort of forms a one long sweeping straight. He can carry the speed. Quartararo's got to go for a move at turn 10. He knows he needs to have an opportunity, and Bagnia's going to go for it now. Vinales going to have to go low on the brakes. Quartararo early on the brakes. Turns into 10. Vinales gets the inside line covered. Quartararo still can't find a way through. He's still fighting. Don't forget, this isn't the last lap. There's another one to go, but Bagnia's now pulled out 7/10 to Vinales, and that's 9/10 to Quartararo. They're still separated. Now they're separated by exactly a second. You can see on the timing screen that Quartararo's got so much more gumption coming out of turn 14. He's on the inside line of Vinales, Vinales shuts the door. Nearly chops off the front wheel of Quartararo as they come into turn 16. Desperately trying to hold that line. Can't find it. Takes the power back into the last corner. Are you ready for one more go around? In Mandalika. Across the line. Last lap the call. Bagnia leads. He's pulled out a second again to Vinales and Quartararo. Quartararo on the inside line and towards turn 1. He trail breaks in. Loses a bit of time. He's lost a lot of time for that first corner, actually. Tried to get it on the trail brake, didn't work out the way he thought it might. Couldn't find the right opportunity to do so. Keeps it on again, through 3 and 4. Now we're in the right-handers. Can Quartararo sneak through on the inside line of Vinales? He's gaining on the speed. Not going to happen through 6. Not in 7 and 8. Can he get the opportunity to turn 10? Can Bagnia hold on with that hard front tyre with the falling track temperature? Nothing from Quartararo to turn 10. He looks around the outside line to try and get the cut back with a better exit. Gets a little bit of better exit than Vinales, but close. But no silver. Last lap, Pecco, keep going. The YouTube chat saying from Albanek as well. Listen to the cheers of the Indonesian fans. We're in the final sector. Marco Bezecchi is about to win for the 17th time. Quartararo's got a lunge on Vinales. Into turn 16, Vinales really braking late. He's caught right down to Bagnia. What a braking zone for Vinales. The 3 of them are going to go side by side across the line. Vinales is going for it. Out of the last corner. It's a 3-way fight to the line. Who's going to win it? Across the line. It's Bagnia. Vinales. The top three separated by 0.4 of a second across the line. What an end here in Indonesia. Bagnia wins for the 17th time in MotoGP. Vinales second, Quartararo third, and the top three congratulate each other on a race very well rode. Bagnia victorious in Jorge Martin's defeat. What was a victory in the sprint yesterday, Martin couldn't manage in the marathon. Bagnia retakes the championship lead, 346 points to Martin's 328. 18 points going in to the final five. Two-way fight in the title. Magnificent racing. You will never see a championship that changes as much as MotoGP. The winner is Pecco Bagnaia once again this year. The first rider to win a dry Grand Prix from outside the front four rows since Marco Melandri at the 2006 Turkish Grand Prix at Istanbul. What, 16 years? What a race. 17 years, forgive me. What an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix we've just had here at the Perminta Mandalika circuit on the island of Lombok in Indonesia. This weekend has changed the complexion of the championship. Bagnaia off the pace all weekend long, having to qualify outside in Q1, starting 13th, his lowest grid position since Portugal 2022. He fought back hard and he took the race win. Martin led so dominantly off the line, but fell. A great race. Bagnaia can't believe it. We can't believe it. Let's get the thoughts of TNT. Neil Hodgson.
He was super aggressive. I think it was on lap 2. It showed him. And at that point, being super aggressive, you are taking a lot of risk, but it certainly paid off for him today.
Maverick Vinales is second place of the year. I just feel like it's not quite going to happen for him. Just not enough. There was a point in that race, about 3 to go, where we thought Vinales might actually have something to come back at Bagnia.
It was that penultimate lap. He lost a couple of tenths on that penultimate lap, and then on the last lap he made up a load of time. Well, we've got a championship on though, because believe this or not, I still feel going into the next round the favourite for me is Jorge Martin. I still feel like, yeah, he's made a mistake there, but Jorge Martin's got enough confidence and enough arrogance to think, I'll show you how to ride round there.
The question mark around that, though, having had the first mistake since round 3, how much does it chip out of your confidence? How much does it take away from it?
I think he's all right. I think he's built up enough resilience, enough confidence to take this one on the chin. His crash was the same crash we've seen so many riders have. It was one of those weird ones that you can't control. You can delete that from your memory.
Marco Bezzecchi, yesterday a podium, today a 5th place, and it wasn't a straightforward one. He did battle with Gian Antonio. He got through on Binder right at the end, battle with Miller. 5th place, having broken his collarbone at the ranch.
And this is on the last lap.
Yep. It's made of tough stuff, this Marco Bezzecchi.
Yeah.
Celebrations for Pecco Bagnaia. Of course he will have dreamt about it. Of course he will have thought it would have been possible.
And it's rare you see that sort of celebration from the reserved Italian.
But he must have expected that Jorge Martin would be in front of him today.
Definitely. Like I said, if I was a team manager, I'd have been saying, don't panic. This is a damage limitation weekend.
You were asking for the board to say Peter okay at one point in that race.
Exactly.
It wasn't okay for him. He wanted more. As Pecco Bagnaia wins. Also takes Michelin's 500th Grand Prix win. Tell you what, join some names in that list of people who 400 was Marc Marquez, Sete Gibernal 300, Nick Doohan 200, Wayne Gardner 100 wins for them, and Jack Findlay, what a legend of the sport, who took the first ever Michelin win on the Isle of Man TT in 1973.
Good year, that.
So when you had your 18th.
Here he is. Oh, can you imagine being Bez? They'll sleep tonight. Actually, he won't. He's still jet lagged. He only got here on Friday morning.
About 3 in the morning.
Yeah, guaranteed.
We've all had that this week.
We'll have this morning breakfast as well. Went, oh, we all slept good last night. And I went, yeah, all ready to leave tomorrow to another time zone. It's the reality of this part of the season.
Quartararo rode really well, didn't he? Showed that he's still got the fight. All this talk about next year, and obviously he's going to be with Yamaha. Has he missed a trick? You know, with all the contract changes, he's going to see out the rest of his contract. He will be high on people's shopping lists, I tell you, at the end of next year. Another podium for him, and he's down there with Simon Crafar.
Your team manager, Mayo, just described your ride as superb. I have to agree with him. How would you describe it?
Frustrated, because I know my speed. That was 3.5 seconds. I catch up, but we know what we miss, and it's really frustrating when you know your capacity. But you know, to be back in the podium from Austin to India was a long time. Now to India to here was shorter, so really happy, and hopefully Phillip Island will make a great race for us.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there anything he could have done differently? I mean, he made up that ground. Is it 3.5 seconds, and then what?
Yeah, there was not one point where he hesitated. I've got to say it was a fantastic ride from Fabio.
How far behind the winner he is in the end.
He thought about dive bombing into the last corner. I'm glad he didn't, because he'd have probably cleaned Maverick out there. So
look at their tyres, the stripes on their tyres.
That's out of the last corner.
Of course, we head to Phillip Island next. Should go well there for...
Should go well. Yeah, completely different track. Really grip it.
As Paolo Ciabatti congratulates the top independent team rider, Fabio Di Gianantonio, who knows he's on his way out of MotoGP. You've got to give the lad some credit.
Unbelievable. Very, very impressive.
Maverick Vinales is his second of the year. He's speaking to Simon.
That is the Maverick we know is in there. Tell us about your race, Mav.
Come on. I was running so well. I was controlling the tires. Just Pecco was a little bit faster than I was in that point of the race. But I know from yesterday, if I exit, I push, and push, my rear was done. So I just control, and the race was coming for me. So very happy and very pleased about the job. Very proud of my team. Very proud about the way. Also, thanks to all the Indonesian crowd. Has been amazing fun. So we will try to replay it in Australia. But however, we need to enjoy. It's an amazing result.
Congratulations.
Control, for me, was the word that stood out. We asked for him to just have fibres left on his tyre at the end of the race. It's very marked up.
Yeah, look at all the tyres there. Actually,
Yeah,
Fabio's looks the worst,
doesn't it?
by far, doesn't it?
And maybe that was his issue, but so close, so near, but so far in the end for Maverick.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. You could sense his frustration.
You could hear it. He growled at Simon there. Don't do that again.
You said you like it when I growled.
Please.
Don't ever do that again.
Stop right there. Do not do that again. Well, hopefully Pecco Bagnaia is in growling into the microphone. He'll be cheering, no doubt, as Simon Crafar speaks to the race winner in Mandalika.
Pecco, that has to be one of the best rides of your career. Tell us how you feel about it.
I think we were deserving a race like this. Starting P13, doing the first laps, doing the maximum I could. Then when I saw Martin going, I just said to myself, take care about the tires, and then let's see. And it was the correct thing, because then in the last 10 laps I was with another pace. I was controlling a lot, and I'm very, very happy. I want to say thanks to all my crew, my fabulous girlfriend, and my family.
Congratulations.
Well, Michael, what an epic race that was.
That was a turn up for the books. We didn't expect any of that to happen, pretty much. Jorge Martin throwing away a 3-second lead. Pecco Bagnaia coming from 13th to take a controlled victory. Controlled wasn't the word, because he was under pressure at the last corner.
Needed another couple of laps, actually.
Yeah, it was hotting up. You could see the tyres were gone for all of the podium contenders. I would have loved to have seen another 2 laps there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the guys managed it well. You got to say, fair play to Pecco. To come from 13th through the pack, not push too hard in the middle. When he's seen the gap going away at the front, he controlled it well, and that's what his skill is. He knows exactly what he can get out of the bike on every occasion.
It seemed like we were looking at a different person to yesterday. I mean, the switch has been extraordinary. Let's go back to the start of the race there, where Jorge Martin looked like he was on a different kind of motorbike.
I don't think we've seen a start like that since maybe Danny Pedrosa. The power to weight difference, because he is a lighter, smaller rider, but his execution, as soon as the lights go out, he drops the clutch. The lowering device in Ducati works so well, but it's like he's got another gear. He's just really out-accelerating everyone in the run to turn 1, but ultra-aggressive. Just wipes the nose of Luca Marini to get over onto the clean part of the track, so the darker piece of tarmac, that's where the grip is, takes the lead and gets his head down. So he knew what he could do today, and what an exceptional start. What an exceptional first few laps. But maybe the pace was a little bit too much. The air of confidence sometimes can catch you out, so he was just riding, flowing, throwing it into the turns, and then...
Was it rider error?
A little bit. It's almost overconfidence. We've talked all weekend, and Neil did say that there's maybe a mistake in Jorge, because when you ride with that air of confidence around a slick track like this, because slightly offline, he's maybe not even offline, he's pretty much on the clean part of the track, but the front tucks before he even gets a chance to get in the corner, put his knee on the deck, and you can see that head in his hands straight away.
Disbelief, isn't it?
Yeah, he knows, like, well, he's hoping it's maybe 16 points that Pecco's going to get back, but in the end it was 25. So, yeah, he had such an advantage at this stage in the race. He could have cruised it, but sometimes you have to keep your focus, push every single lap to maintain it, just not to lose focus, not to make a mistake, and unfortunately that's what's happened.
He had all that momentum, and suddenly, just like that, it slams shut, doesn't it? And he's got to pick himself up now and start again. And at that point, Francesco Bagnia was making his way through. He had a great start, and already he looked like a different person today. The day before.
Yeah, obviously when we spoke to Davide, he said he found something in warm-up, and that was quite evident. The overtakes he was able to make, Pecco couldn't do those yesterday. So cleanly down the inside of Maverick into turn 10, stopped it up, didn't run wide, and I think that was what the key was today for Pecco, being able to be precise in braking.
And on lap 20, he took the lead, and I guess with that confidence of being able to overtake comes the self-confidence, knowing there's a change in the bike. I mean, he just did, you know, seem completely different today.
Yeah, it's back to Pecco prior to the Catalunya crash, so these type of overtakes, then controlling the pace, managing the tyre wear. I actually thought for a moment there Vinales was going to square it back up the inside, but at this stage Maverick's tyre looked really quite banded on the very left edge, so I think he was being careful. It was almost like his tyre came back to him in the last 5 laps. But yeah, you got to say Pecco was masterful in his control of the tyre wear. That's where he is so scientific in his approach. Sometimes not riding with the emotion that you want to see from like of Jorge Martin, but yeah, he was in control. And this is the attack from Fabio Quartararo. Unfortunately, Fabio rode so well, but there was just no room for him to get through. I thought he was going to release the front brake and just send it up the inside of Maverick, but because Maverick was also getting a sniff of Pecco, the door closed, the accordion effect happened, they all closed up on each other, and it was status quo across the line, but 3 riders within 0.4 of a second as they crossed the line. I'll take that.
I mean, that race was incredible. The last 5 laps were sensational to see. Could it happen? What was going to happen with Fabio Quartararo and Maverick Vinales? But the celebrations in there, Davide Tardozzi losing his mind, as you would expect. Go on, Davide.
He does love it. He wears his heart on his sleeve. You always know what it means to, well, actually, everyone inside the Ducati guards, they're a very passionate bunch.
Paolo's face.
Love it.
That's what it's all about. That's what sport's all about. It's the joy and the pain, and we've seen it all today here.
Yeah, and the emotions from this man on the slow down lap, normally quite reserved Pecco, and this is quite a flamboyant Pecco today.
Bombastic, wasn't he?
Exactly, because it's the turnaround, the shift, because he's been in such a lull the last few weeks, and now all of a sudden he's going, right, I've got this, I've got an understanding of what's happening, and he's seen the first signs of a crack in Jorge Martin's demeanour, because Jorge has been on cloud 9 for 5 weeks now, so it's just giving a little bit of a kick back.
Lost the championship lead just for one day and regains it today as we head forward.
It will all, I believe in what Neil said could come true, because Jorge is such a confidence and ego character. Will turn up in Australia and he'll just flip it in his head again and he'll go win. So yeah, the points margin isn't big. It's still, we've got a long way to go with 5 feature races and 5 sprints remaining. So yeah, a lot of points on the table.
We should just give a little bit of a shout out as well. Alex Rins back in the top 10. He finished 9th, obviously back from injury, a big injury for him. I'm sure he'll have a smile on his face. But Bears finishing 4th. That's no less heroic to yesterday, is it?
Yeah, to be able to go race distance over the full 27 laps, that's impressive. I thought the podium yesterday was a miracle.
Fifth,
but to
actually.
get a 5th in the end, sorry.
Yeah,
but impressive nonetheless. So he had a fight for it as well. It wasn't an easier, it was tougher early laps because he didn't gain the initial positions after third row start. Excuse me, but yeah, to now have rehabbed his shoulder this weekend and have a few days off before he goes to Phillip Island. So he's kept his title hopes alive, achieved exactly what the objective was. So it's been a hard weekend for him, but we've seen him earlier just walking about, chilled as you like, so you wouldn't think he'd broke his collarbone just a week ago.
No, he's an incredible character. It was Digi, actually, that was 4th. A phenomenal performance from him as well. And it's just, well, it's crazy that he hasn't got a ride in this paddock, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the tough times at the moment. If you're not quite there, Fabio's close. His pace is really good, but unfortunately not enough to retain a ride in MotoGP with so few seats available.
That might be our cue to stop talking. We can hear a ladies and gentlemen on the podium. So let's go over to our gentleman in the commentary box, Gavin Emmett, to enjoy this podium.
Podium ceremony going to take part then. Ducati already wrapped up the Constructors' Championship yesterday. Well, with the mountain of bikes they've got on the grid as competitive this season, it was only a matter of time, really. 3rd place for Fabio Quartararo, yet another podium in MotoGP. Very good stuff from him as well on the number 20 bike. Podium number 31 of his MotoGP career, 35th overall. Batman himself, Maverick Vinales, the Halloween costumes coming out a bit early. He goes in as well. His 20th MotoGP podium, his 61st overall. The cap and capes come off and get thrown out into the crowd as well. Absolutely fantastic scenes from Vinales. But the biggest comes for Pecco Bagnia, 13th on the grid to finish in 1st. It's his 17th MotoGP win, his 27th overall, his 30th MotoGP podium, 53rd overall in his career as well. The first time this season that all our podium sitters come from the first 5 riders in the page notes up here. Constructors' Trophy for this race gets presented to Ducati. 3rd place trophy now getting presented to Fabio Quartararo. You can hear the cheers from everybody. Really is quite strong. Shoulder cam still operational for Fabio as well to give us the info. 2nd place for Maverick Vinales. Take a listen. Absolutely domination. Perfect atmosphere for him there. But the race winner is Pecco Bagnia. Top 3 by 4/10 over the line. Once again this year, we are going to hear the most famous national anthem, I think, of all. Here in Indonesia, it's the Italian national anthem. What a fantastic race we've had here in Indonesia. And now the riders can prepare themselves. It's champagne time. Cracking race, cracking weekend of action. Should we do it again? Part of a Triple Crown, of course. Next up, we go to Australia, down under at Phillip Island. All live as well next weekend. Great race, great atmosphere. Let's take a look then at how they finished fully in this race as well. Pecco Bagnia is victorious for Maverick Vinales and Fabio Quartararo. Fabio Di Giannantonio in 4th. Marco Bezzecchi takes over in 5th. Brad Binder is 6th, Jack Miller 7th, Neo Bashini 8th, Alex Rins 9th, and Alicia Spargo rounds out the top 10. Takiki Nakagami is 11th, Miguel Oliveira 12th, Ralph Fernandez is 13th, Franco Morbidelli 14th, and everybody scored points today because out of the race, Johan Zarco, crucially Jorge Martin, Johan Mir, Augusto Fernandez, Marc Marquez, Luca Marini, and Pol Espargaro all failed to finish. In the World Championship, Pecco Bagnia now has an 18-point lead over Jorge Martin. The championship, 346 points to Martin's 328. Marco Bezzecchi is 63 points back with 5 races remaining, including the 5 sprints. Brad Binder, 211. Alicia Spargo, 177. Vinales, 165. Clear of Zarco on 162. Marini has 144. Miller, 135. Quartararo, 132. Rounds out the top 10. An interesting race and an interesting weekend here in Indonesia. It really has given us the ups and downs of a title fight. Yesterday it was Jorge Martin who won the sprint and took the championship lead by 16 points. Leaving here, it all goes the way of Pecco Bagnia to 18 points. The swings and roundabouts, sprints and marathons. Thank you very much for joining us this weekend across Twitch and YouTube on JB Motorsports. We'll be back with you next weekend for all the action from Phillip Island for the Australian Grand Prix. Have a very good rest of your day. Happy Sunday. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.